Hello, everybody. So, for today's movie review, Tom Richardson is going to review a movie called The Sessions about a man with an iron lung who's trying to seek out sexual fantasies. So, hey, everybody. Sorry for that weird introduction there. But I am going to review a film where we get to see a man who did have an iron lung. It's based off a real story called The Sessions here. Um, it's a recent film. It came out in 2012. It had a limited release, so not a lot of theaters got it, unfortunately. But like I said, it's about a man with an iron lung who's trying to seek sexual fantasy. He's just trying to experience what sex is like since, well, he's handicapped and kind of like what I was showing you earlier. He lays on this bed all day, and basically he has to be pushed around and to wherever he needs to be. I guess he was a poet at one point in his life, and um, he would write. I don't know how he did write. Like I don't know if somebody wrote down the stuff he was telling them or what the deal was, but I know he was a poet, and he through a series of people, through a friend with someone who was pushing him around, like I said, and through even a priest at a church played by William H. Macy, who did a terrific job in this movie, by the way. Um, he finds out that he can hire something called a sex surrogate, and it's basically a person who is basically a sex therapist, but it's a more specific kind of sex therapist. It's someone who, if you have a severe disability or severe, handicap condition, um, this person not only can be your sex therapist, they can also help you explore like what real sex is like. So, um, basically, that you have a limited amount of sessions, and this is all in the movie. They explain this. You have a limited amount of sessions, and each of those sessions they're about 2 hours. And like, let's say there was a session where you just wanted to experience what it's like feeling a person of the opposite sex. You can do that. If there's a session where you actually want to experience sexual intercourse, you can do that. Um, if there's a session where you just want to talk and just figure out, what people like and don't like during sexual intercourse, you can do that. So basically, anything sexual this man can do, as long as it's in a 2 hour time frame, and as long as it's limited down to 6 sessions. You can't have more than 6 sessions throughout this movie. Um, so throughout the film, it also centers around Helen Hunt, who plays the sex surrogate of this guy with the iron lung. And basically, throughout this movie, she's almost kind of questioning um, kind of the marriage she has with the husband before meeting this client, because she's really starting to get attached to this guy. She had sexual intercourse with this guy now, and I guess to be a sex surrogate, you do have to be married. I do know that about the real career position of a sex surrogate. I guess they do require you to be married and have a kid and everything to experience sexual intercourse with your spouse. Um, but after a while, this Helen Hunt character really starts to have feelings for him, really starts to question her own marriage. The husband's really not happy about all of this, so I'm kind of shocked that he allowed her to pursue this career. Um, and throughout the movie, too, I think this actor's name is John Hawkes. I apologize if that's not his name. He plays the man with this iron lung, and he also has these, like I said, these people that kind of push him around and clean him up in a bath. Kind of this hand manual bath that they got to give him since he can only lie in bed all day. Um, they focus on some women who kind of had feelings for him over time also, which I think was a really neat idea. It's a really honest film, which is another thing I appreciate about this movie. Um, and So, like I said, for most of this movie, it's just basically about this man experiencing basically any questions he had about sexual fantasies while he was alive, because he didn't live too long. I think he only lived to be in like his late 30s or early 40s, I think. Maybe the late 40s, I'm not sure, but somewhere between the late 30s and those late 40s, he was alive around that point. So the sessions, you guys, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. It really was a very, very honest, very well made movie that had a good flow to it. I love the flow of this movie. I love the performances of John Hawkes. Like I said, I don't know if that's his name or not, but um, and I loved Helen Hunt, William H Macy, and Moon Bloodgood in this. They were all terrific in this film. Um, Huge congratulations to Helen Hunt because that's a lot to do to be naked in front of a screen for that long. Because there's some scenes in here where they really get down and dirty with the details with this man's sexual fantasies. Um, and like I said, it's really neat that she was able to allow herself to do that. William H. Macy didn't really get to do as many dirty things, but what was cool about his character was he was this priest at this church, and he would always listen to this guy's stories about him and the sex surrogate. And it was just really his reaction and his responses to certain things were just spot on perfect in this. Like I said, I loved his performance in this. I almost wish he got nominated for an Oscar because I know Helen Hunt did for this movie, but he did not. Moon Bloodgood was very good in this. I think the only film I saw her in before this movie was Terminator Salvation, but she really nailed it as kind of this woman that helped him push him around place to place. There were some scenes in here where she was talking with kind of the receptionist of this hotel that the this guy and the sex surrogate would meet up at. All the scenes with her and this guy at the hotel I thought was really well acted and really well filmed. Um, there's a person who pushes the guy around with the iron lung in this film. I think her name is Amanda. I love all the scenes with her in this film. There's a scene where she wants to study German and is about to go to Germany and wants to say goodbye to him. Uh, he kind of has a crush on her at one point and tells him that he loves her and stuff. And every single moment with that person, I really enjoyed. It was just really well filmed. Really got you emotional. Really got you happy or sad or whatever was going on in the scene. So I loved all the scenes that dealt with the Amanda character. Um, I liked how this film was really honest and really spot on with like a man's sexual fantasies because basically what this guy was thinking was put on the screen. So, and yes, that does mean it was very dirty, but still, the fact that it was honest and done and filmed right, I thought was a very interesting take on a film like this that I haven't really seen a lot before. So I really enjoyed that they were able to do that. I loved the masterful perspectives they had in this. Like, if you really want to get this, the impression that you were watching, the John Hawkes character's perspective, it definitely felt like you were lying down on the bed with him, just kind of seeing what he was seeing. Or if you were in Helen Hunt's position, you were kind of looking down and seeing what she was seeing. So they got the perfect kind of perspective shots for this film, and it was just really well done on how they did it. Um, there was also some really effective drama in this film. There's some scenes where you're really worried that something bad's going to happen to the John Hawkes character, and there was just the scenes that felt happy, the scenes that felt sad were sad, and the scenes that were meant to be comedic felt comedic, and the scenes that were meant to be serious were taken seriously. So just some really effective drama in this film, which is perfect because this film basically is a drama movie of depicting a real person's life. Um, for negatives, you guys, there was a character in this film. I'm not going to spoil it because it might potentially ruin a big plot point in the movie. But there's a character that the John Hawkes character does fall in love with during his post sessions with the sex surrogate. And I'm not joking when she literally gets like 3 minutes of screen time, and that's not enough because like in the film they were saying like he was in a relationship with her for like 5 years or something, and like she gets like 3 minutes of screen time, and like so by the time the film's done with, you almost barely know this character that had a huge significance in his life. And though the film is about kind of the sex surrogate portion of this man's life, I think it's kind of important to also share this woman he had a relationship with after all the sessions were done with. And I just don't get why they just cut it so short with all that because it was only a 95-minute movie. And I really wish that they explored that some more. Um, Also, the number of sessions feel off. Like I explained before, he's only allowed to have 6 sessions. There is something that happens in the film that I don't want to talk about too much because it might ruin the movie again. But there's some scenes in here just like how many sessions are there? Because there's almost scenes where like it's a session immediately after a scene, a session immediately after a scene, and you almost begin to question how many sessions are there? Are they just time shifting, or what are they doing? And so it was kind of it just kind of felt off the whole deal with that. Um, There were some scenes in here where there was some over exaggerated sexual moments every once in a while. A good example of this is, and this isn't spoiling anything, is it's like right away in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. One of the people that helps the John Hawkes character get pushed around, not the Moonblood good one, maybe the Amanda one, or it was either her or the. I think it actually was the Amanda one. Now that I bring it up, um, there's scenes where like she's with her boyfriend and they have like an in-depth conversation with each other while taking a bath with each other, and it was just like, okay, I understand that they're in a relationship, I understand that this is a movie, I understand they're trying to possibly depict what that relationship may have been like, but it just felt really overly exaggerated. It just felt like because they were allowed to do so much sexual things in this movie, it's just like, okay, well, we're gonna have them talk in a bathtub naked, and they're gonna, we're gonna watch them stroke each other's backs, and because it's a sexual movie already, we can get away with it by showing, this really dirty thing that they probably never would want our society to see them have during their relationship, and it just felt really overly exaggerated. I really wish on the small scenes like that they got a more realistic depiction, like maybe just have them sitting around on the couch like watching TV or something. That would have been a much more realistic relationship. Or if they're really lovey-dovey, maybe have them like stroll through the park or stroke each other's backs while they're on a car. Do something more realistic. Don't make them like in a bathtub. It's like, okay, come on, they really didn't do that, did they? Um, this is a very sex-heavy film, but that's kind of to be expected with a film like this because it's kind of the sexual fantasy portion and the sexual depiction of this man's life, pretty much. But it is a very sex-heavy film. There's not a lot of breathing room in between the scenes, between the sessions, and the other portions of this man's life and Helen Hunt's life. There are, but it's a very sexually heavy movie. I have a hard time thinking of a scene in here that didn't deal with something sexual. So if you're looking for a film that has more things than just a sexual story, this may not be the film just because there is just a ton of sexual material in this movie. That being said, I recommend being 18 or older watching this. If you're 17 or under, maybe wait a few years just because it is a very sex heavy film. There's probably going to be some scenes in here where if you're 18 or under, you're probably going to be giggling a little bit just because it is very detailed on some of the sexual stuff in here. Um, there was, like I said before, with the number of sessions, the time shifts feel off and confusing in here. Um, there's just some scenes in here where you're almost wondering, okay, what time are they at? Is this during a session, before it, after it? It's just like after a while, there were some time shifts that just really didn't. You had no idea where they were at this point in this man's life, and I really wish they kind of should have structured that better. Um, but overall, guys, I give the Sessions a 9 out of 10. It is a very well done movie. Um, Definitely one of the better sexual films I've seen in a long time. Helen Hunt gave a very great performance, and I'm still kind of shocked that she didn't win an Oscar for this because she did a lot of things in here that not a lot of people would do. And I loved William H. Macy in this. This is another great performance from him. So 9 out of 10 for me, guys. Very good film. Like I said, be 18 or older, though. It is a very sexual heavy movie. But overall, guys, this film is excellent, and I highly recommend it.